Brighton Pride is back on the streets after being cancelled for the past 2 years due to COVID-19. The singer Christina Aguilera is headlining a concert this evening. Paloma Faith is the headline act tomorrow, by the way. Sam Harrison has this report.
A celebration finally back to its brilliant best. But this time, it simply meant more. This morning, thousands gathered on Hove Lawns to send off the long-awaited Pride Parade.
I felt a little bit emotional when I first got here because we've had such a long time away from each other, so it feels extra special.
It's the first year that it's been back on since COVID. It's our first time having family and dogs here, so it's quite an exciting Pride for all of us.
It's really kind of like my first proper Pride in general, and honestly, it's kind of amazing already.
With the parade in full swing, you can feel the excitement here, and you can see just what it means to people to be back celebrating this world-famous event.
Back in 2019, these smiling faces weren't to know what was round the corner. And for those running events today, it's a reminder that this celebration can never be taken for granted.
This is still a protest. Us being here is a protest. You know, today, the cameras will pan round and see people from all ages, colours, sexualities, genders, and that is a protest. And there will be somebody who's not here and look at that and go, but I want to be part of that because that's me. Those are my people.
After a packed day of parades and parties, attention this evening turns to the concert at Preston Park. And with headline performer Christina Aguilera in town, it's set to be a night to remember.
It's going to be electric. We've been waiting for this for 3 years. For it to come back, for Pride to come back, so we're so excited.
We can't wait. Really looking forward to Christina Aguilera, aren't we?
Yeah.
And then we're coming tomorrow as well, so looking forward to Paloma. So brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
A big night ahead then after a day of joy and celebration. Pride 2022 is already proving to be a Pride to remember. Sam Harrison, BBC
Brighton's
News.
always brighter when the weather...
Now, 2.5 months after the war began in Ukraine, some of the families who've come here to escape the conflict have told us they're struggling to settle. So far, more than 117,000 Ukrainian people have applied for a visa to come to the UK. And according to the government, over 86,000 have now been issued. But so far, just over 27,000 refugees have actually arrived in the country. Sam Harrison has visited one family near Canterbury who say their young child isn't being given enough support.
Preparing for a new day in an uncertain world, unable to speak English and unable to completely understand exactly what's happened. That's the reality for 6-year-old Emily from Kyiv. After arriving in the UK 3 weeks ago, she now lives in Barham and has recently joined the nearby Elam Primary School.
I have some friends there and I like playing with them. It was difficult for me to talk in English, as I can't understand anyone.
Emily's new home is with her host Tamazin, and as a mum herself, Tamazin knows the importance of a strong start at school. But she's concerned enough hasn't been done to accommodate for Emily's arrival.
In terms of any provision for language, translation, everybody's muddling through and doing their best, but I do feel that that's, I'm quite disappointed for her, from her health and well-being point of view. There does need to be some kind of provisions, some strategies and resources, really.
Schools like this one are doing all they can to help integrate children like Emily. But with more families hoping to host over the coming months, there are concerns that others will face similar challenges when it comes to education.
In a statement, the Department for Education says it's committed to finding school places for up to 100,000 Ukrainian children. It also says schools will be funded on a per-pupil basis for each child they support, and the department's working at pace to develop this funding and will write to local authorities once this work is completed.
The barriers are huge. I mean, we've got some paperwork that we've been able to download off the internet that's the alphabet and things like that, but all of the key words we had to kind of find ourselves. So we can put our own packs together. But I think perhaps something could have been done a little bit higher up to say, here's your refugee, if you like, or here's the refugees in your school, and here's a pack to support them, age appropriate.
For Emily, this support couldn't come any sooner, as it remains unclear when she'll be able to return to Kyiv. And whilst over time her English will improve, for now each day remains a difficult task. Sam Harrison, BBC South East Today, Elam.
A Meals on Wheels service based in Brighton is warning that elderly and disabled people in the city could suffer serious malnutrition in the coming months if it doesn't secure more funding. Since it was set up at the start of the pandemic, the East Brighton Food Cooperative has delivered 169,000 meals in the area. It's helped over 1,500 vulnerable people, and it's saved over 350 tonnes of food from being wasted. But the organisation says it's now struggling to cover its staffing costs, as Sam Harrison reports.
Hi David, it's Janet, East Brighton Food Co-op.
Okay Janet, you know I'm on the second floor.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
A personal service to those who need it most. Another day for the East Brighton Food Cooperative, and yet another important meal delivered to a local resident. 76-year-old Dave Blythe in Whitehawk lost his leg 4 years ago, meaning this help is a lifeline.
For a lot of people, when they live alone or whatever, they need a service. You know, for this to be taken away would be criminal.
Meals for people like Dave are prepared by volunteers in this kitchen close to the city centre, with local food collected and saved here instead of being thrown away. A big operation which is costing a lot of money. The City Council has already allocated over £20,000 to this organisation, but now they're asking for additional money to help with the costs of staffing, with a decision on this potential new funding coming over the next month.
We are really the last chance saloon. Local authorities haven't got much money, and things like Meals on Wheels are disappearing, and that means that elderly people are actually dying of malnutrition behind closed doors in this country now. This is too important to be left to the kindness and generosity of volunteers. You know, we've been doing this for nothing for 2.5 years now. It needs to be funded properly.
In a statement, Brighton and Hove City Council said they understand very clearly the importance of the East Brighton Food Co-op's meal delivery service. They say their teams are working flat out to try and find a way to fund the EBFC and many other excellent services across the city. Finding a strategy moving forward is essential for all involved, including volunteers, who understand the importance of their work.
You come out of hospital, you've had an operation, you're not very well. You're lucky if you've got someone to look after you in your own home, but if you haven't, you're relying on other people.
You hope that at some point they will then be able to move on and be able to cook their own meals again, so it should only be a temporary solution, really.
For now, volunteers will continue with their work, but the future is uncertain. And for people supported across the city, the hope of having 3 healthy meals a day remains in the balance. Sam Harrison, BBC South East Today, Brighton.
Our reporter Sam Harrison is there for us now. Sam, the EFL have condemned the pitch invasion. That said, probably difficult not for the fans to at least be excited about this amazing win.
Well, James, it was a fantastic occasion for Crawley Town last night. 4 divisions and 84 league places. That's what separated League 2 Crawley Town and Premier League Fulham before kick-off that night, last night. But that didn't stop the Red Devils from recording a remarkable 2-0 victory here in front of a packed-out, sold-out crowd. Now, after the game, a number of Crawley Town fans did invade the pitch here, and that's something the EFL have condemned. They say it compromises safety and warns fans that it could even result in a ban. But ultimately, from a footballing perspective, it was a memorable night in front of a packed crowd here. And one of those who was in attendance last night was Crawley Town fan Carol Bates. Now, Carol, you must have been to your fair share of Crawley games. How does last night rank?
Yeah, I mean, that was pretty special last night. I mean, it's right up there with some Premier League scalps that we've had before and some league promotions as well. So what a fantastic night for Crawley.
And talk us through some of your emotions after that first goal went in. You've struggled so far this year. Did you really believe you were going to pull off the win?
Well, I think last night was just a totally different game. I mean, we did score early, so it was a case of sort of thinking, can we hang on? But the way we were playing last night, it was just, there was a belief there that we could do it.
And in that round 3 draw, who would you want in an ideal world?
Well, no disrespect to Newport or Morecambe, but we've done that on a Tuesday night before, so we'll have another Premier League team at home, I think.
Well, Carol, we'll keep our fingers crossed. Carol Bates there, Crawley Town fan, on what is a great day for Crawley Town after a brilliant night beating Premier League Fulham. The all-important draw for round 3 of the EFL Cup is tonight at 9:45.
Thank you, Sam.